fliko.
Hello. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Good morning. Oh man, it feels good. It feels so good. It feels so good to see all these names and to be back in this. This is my first time on stream in months. Thankfully, we don't have too much to catch up on. I happen to have dropped an album. If you've listened to LOUIE, if you've checked LOUIE out, if you've gave it even one stream, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you know how it feels to make thousands and thousands of songs and never put out any that are your own? I'm not saying you should feel sympathy for producers. What I'm saying is I don't even know if I ever had the intention to put out my own music. I've never thought about it ever. I've never rapped. I've never sang. I've never done something that I knew was going to be just for me and by me. I produce, you know what I mean? I work with artists. I work with great artists. I've worked with a lot of legendary artists. I've been very, very fortunate to have been given a shot to work with the people that I've worked with, and sometimes come out of it even stronger on the other side with some great stuff to be proud of, and sometimes just got the experience. But either way, I never once put the burden on myself of, oh, you need to drop something. You need to put your thing into the world. It just never felt like a big issue to me. It always felt like I'm here to help other people. Whenever I hear anybody you've ever seen me do an album with, anybody you've seen me do a song with, when I hear them talk about their family and their relationships and their path they're going through in life, I always feel like it's so important. And I want to help them get that out there. I want to help them make the best music or make the best presentation of this idea that they have. Something hit me a while ago, and I kind of knew it was worth telling the story. I've been a little sporadic with the interviews and how much I've said about the project or what it means or who's on it or who's not on it or what it is. Just to clear up a couple things right now so I don't have to talk about it all the time. There are people that are featured on the project that are not in the thank yous list. And there's people in the thank yous list who are not featured on the project. Let's get at that out the way right now. And no, I'm not just talking about Peggy. There are features on the album that are not credited and are not in the thank you list. And then there's also people in the thank you list who are not on the record. I am on the record. I am singing on the record. My voice is on the record besides just the clips of me and my dad talking. I'm not going to talk about where or when. The point of this album isn't for me to come on Twitch and break down every beat. The point of this record was not for me to come on here, make something, keep it a secret, and then show it to you guys and dispel everything about it. There's a lot of details that I'm sure people would love to know, and I'm sure would be a great name drop for me, and I'm sure would be maybe something that even would get more sales or get more attention or whatever. But I made this record. I started the record on December 1st, 2021, and I finished it on December 31st, 2021. And my goal was to finish it on December 25th. I spent 1 month making the record in this room, only people that I'm friends with. And there's a lot of people who came by who aren't on the record, and there's a lot of people who I was really trying to have come by, and they didn't make it because they didn't know what I was working on. I never told anybody, I'm making an album, I'm putting out an album, I'm doing a thing for my dad. I would just tell people to come to the studio. I would say, can you just come by? Peggy was very confused. Like, a lot of people were very confused when I was like, no, stop. People would try to give me a verse. People would try to give me a hook. People would try to give me, you know what I mean, a long thing with a bunch of lyrics, and I would just say, stop. And everybody was like, what the fuck are you, what do you mean stop? Like, is it bad? And I'm like, no, just trust me. Like, I have this whole thing. And after I made the record, I got to December 25th, and I knew I wasn't going to finish it for December 25th because I wanted to play it for my dad as a thing. And there's songs that have been taken off LOUIE, quite a bit of shit that got taken off. It was initially like a 25-song project. And a lot of the stuff I started to realize didn't make sense or just wasn't the right fit or whatever. And I knew when December 25th came around, I wanted to play it for my dad on Christmas, and it wasn't ready. And I started listening to it for the first time and being like, oh my God, anybody who's got a up family member is gonna feel this record. The reason I'm saying all this is to tell you, I'm not gonna answer or a lot of questions when it comes to Louis and the point of it, but I'll just tell you what the point of it is. Because I don't think there's been a single review or blog article that has said exactly this. And thank you, Fantano. Thank you to The Guardian. Thank you to Pitchfork. Bro, the reviews on Louis have been unbelievable, and I can't believe it. Thank y'all so much. But one thing that didn't get said, and I just want to say it right now because it's my first stream back, this is not a How Much I Love My Parents album. And I didn't make Louis to tell my dad how much I love him. I didn't make this record because my dad has cancer and I feel like it's the last thing I'll say to him. It's none of that. Obviously, every review and every piece of press and everything that's come out about my record, they talk about the fact that my dad's sick and that's what started the idea, and there's all these recordings of me and my dad on there and all this different stuff. But the point of it is for anybody who's got a family member where love is a complicated word. And the point of Louis is my dad and I don't have a straightforward relationship. And yes, he is sick, and yes, we're at a great place now, and yes, I see him all the fucking time and I love him so much. We've been through terrible shit. There's shit in everybody's family. The point of Louis, the point of my record, the point of my first album is just to think about those people. Think about those people who you care about, who have really tried your shit, who have really tried your patience, who have done things that you get mad about, but you still love them, you know? That's the point of my album. That's why I made my album. I made the music because sometimes you ever love your parent and go, yeah, but I hate you for that thing you did. You know what I mean? You ever like look at your brother, your sister, or even someone you're in a relationship with or whatever and go, I love you and I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna be around, but there's a couple things that you said or you did and I hate you for that, but I still love you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the feeling in Louis. That's real. If you want to know how I feel about it, you can ask me about collaborators and beats and all that shit all day. This is something I haven't said in an interview. I haven't said it on the internet. I haven't tweeted this. I haven't said this yet. I'm saying this on Twitch to you guys. You know how I feel about you guys. The point for me was for anybody who feels like that. And so I want you to think about it this way. This is the best way to explain it to you. There's a song on my record called Still. I'll use this for an example. If you listen to Still, and for people asking about the lyrics, I wrote a lot of lyrics on the album, but we don't need to talk about where. Still, if you think about normal relationships, and by normal relationships, I mean intimate or romantic relationships. Whenever you hear a song, how do you still have love? What do you think about? An ex, someone, you know what I mean, you used to be with, someone you're with. Romantic though, intimate, a relationship, someone that you're romantically involved with is usually what you think about when you hear a love song or you hear a song about missing someone or do you still think of me? If you think about a parent you've been through shit with, the same sentence feels a lot different. How do you still have love when you think about your ex is a certain part of your heart? Like, do you still think of me? How do you still have love when you think about a parent that you've lost touch with? It's a whole different part of your heart. You know what I mean? And for me, when you think about, do you still think of me in terms of someone, you know what I mean, that you like or you might love or you might want to be involved with versus do you still think of me about a parent or a person in your life you're supposed to be with forever or you're like, you don't even care about me anymore. That's the thing that I started doing all the time where I would listen to songs and I would start relating them to my dad or I would start relating them to my family. That is a thing whenever, you know what I mean? Like you're sad, but you're still mad at a parent or you're still mad at somebody, even though they're sick, even though da-da-da-da-da. So I want people, when they hear the topics and stuff, when they hear the samples and they hear what's getting said over the record, try to flip it. Don't think about someone that you want to be with, someone that you were with, someone that you are with. Think about a different kind of relationship and see if that same sentence fits a different way. Rotten, when I'm listening to it, I'm not thinking about a person that I dated or want to date or want to be. I'm thinking about my father. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I want you guys to listen and think about me and my father. I don't want that. I want you guys to listen and think about your thing, or whoever they are, or the lack thereof. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to think about that. That's it. It's out now.